Hi, my name's Susan, and this is my channel, Susan's Road Less Traveled, and I'm in my home office today wanting to talk about and document a situation that I've been dealing with for going into 2 years now. And as you can tell by the title of my video, the IRS thinks I'm dead. Allow me to explain. In 2020, I filed my 2019 tax return as a qualifying widow, indicating my deceased spouse on my return who died in March of 2019. And I had no problems with the e-filing of my return or any money owed or refunds owed for either the federal or state returns. In 2021, I filed my taxes as a qualifying widow, which I was legally allowed to do for a second year. And when I went to e-file my return using Turbotax, which I've used for 10 years, within 30 minutes of pushing an e-file, I received an email from Turbotax stating that the Fed was rejecting my return. They forced back a code which is out on the IRS.gov website pertaining to this particular situation. But the language was that my federal return was being rejected because my social security number is tied to a deceased person and/or I'm deceased. So you can imagine this was quite discerning. And after trying to go through the TurboTax hoops of quote unquote fixing my return, which there wasn't anything to fix, I ended up changing my status on my 2020 tax return to single with a standard deduction, just to get the qualifying widow status out of the way, because I wondered if that and/or something pertaining to my 2019 return and having my deceased spouse on the return, which I would have had to have done, had something to do and/or was having something to do with affecting my social security number personally. So I changed my filing status to single and took the standard deduction. So in an attempt in 2021 to file my 2020 taxes, I was rejected via e-file through TurboTax 5 times by the Fed. There was nothing that I could fix within TurboTax's system to get it to go through. The filing code that was given back by the IRS indicated that I needed to contact the Social Security Administration to have them correct my record for my Social Security number, that the issue was pertaining to the Social Security Administration. 3 calls in 2021 to the SSA indicated there was nothing on the SSA side that had any issues with my Social Security number. There was no lockup on their side, and they indicated that it was an IRS record issue. So in order to file my taxes, which I did owe the Fed money, and I was getting money back from the state, I decided to paper file my federal return with a check for the amount that I owed and my W-2, and wait for that check to be cashed. And in my mind, I said, if the check gets cashed, then there's nothing wrong with my record, and something, it's a glitch that was there and it's gone now. So within 2 months, my check was cashed, and then I followed up with filing my state return, and within a month, I received my state refund via direct deposit for 2020. So now here I am in February of 2022 trying to file my 2021 taxes. And 3 days ago, I got my W-2. I sat down with Turbotax again, crunched my return. Turbotax crunched their numbers. Everything was clear. Okay, let's e-file. Pressed e-file for a direct deposit on a refund that I'm owed for both federal and state. And within 30 minutes, Turbotax emailed me and said that the Fed was rejecting my return for the same Social Security number issue. I am dead. Rather than keep trying to fix my return in the Turbotax system because there's nothing to fix, I printed my state and federal returns, attached my W-2s. They both owe me money, and mailed them out on the 1st of February. So now I'm in a state of limbo to waiting to see whether or not either of my refunds will be received. I did try again to contact the Social Security Administration 3 days ago and was left on hold for an hour with no response. But during that hour, I logged in and created an account for myself on the SSA.gov website in order to view my Social Security statements and, do all that estimating as I get ready to look at retirement. And it is my opinion that if there was anything on the SSA side with my Social Security number, I would not have been allowed to create that account. And I had no problem creating an account. So that says to me that it is not an SSA issue and it's an IRS issue. I had done some research last year, just Googling whether or not this was, an issue for other people, because I really thought that the tie-up was from filing a 2019 return with a deceased person on it. And what I found was that there were a few other people out there that I could see, very few articles, some news clips from like local news consumer reporting departments at local news stations, talking about somebody that had come to them asking for help. But really very little information. And then I kind of dropped the issue when my check was cashed and when I got my state return, and thought, okay, this was just some, fly-by-night glitch. And then here I am a year later going through the same thing. So as I've started to dig in to this situation, it looks to me like there are, in the numbers of tens of thousands of people every year that are actually going through this same lockup with their Social Security number on the IRS side. And it is either, in some instances, eliminated a disbursement of stimulus money last year, which I'm pretty sure that happened to me because I got one stimulus payment in early 2020, and then I did not get the second two, which the 2021 TurboTax system does allow for you to indicate you did not receive X number of stimulus payments, and they work that into your refund. So I did get a refund back on the Fed side, or will get a refund back on the Fed side, because I didn't receive the second and third stimulus payment. So there are people out there that aren't getting their stimulus payments because the IRS says they're dead. There are people that are in their 70s and 80s trying to fight the IRS saying that they're dead and they're not. There are people that are not getting refunds for years and years on end that they are owed because the system has them locked up and people cannot get it cleared. There's one instance that I read, and I'll link all of these articles and YouTube videos that I found, etc., down below in the description box. But there's also one instance of a person that at the time, and I think the article is a couple years old, was 3 years old. His social security number was locked up. He is now in his 30s, and he has spent, and his family has spent 3 decades trying to unlock his social security number. But I'm sure in the meantime, he's been working, getting taxes collected on him by his company, you know, having to continue to file returns. This is an absolutely maddening situation. It seems to me that there's no recourse for people to contact to get this fixed, and especially in a COVID environment with SSA and the IRS, there are relative few live people that you can call to talk to get any sort of help. So the IRS does have a advocacy service, Taxpayer Advocate Service Assistance, and I'm going to fill out a form that they have on the IRS website that you have to, you know, give them a description of the scenario that you're going through to see if what your problem is even qualifies for them to help you. So that'll be, you know, what I get ready to fax or mail in and wait 4 weeks to see if I even get a response. And the other thing is, last year I did also try to contact my senator and my local state representative, and I got, you know, emails back with a myriad of hoops that I had to jump through to even get their attention. So, you know, that in itself is frustrating. So the last place that I'm at this point is to wait to see whether my returns are accepted via the paper filing and whether I get a refund back. So I'll be back with an update as soon as I get any information. And in the meantime, if there's anybody sees this, if you're out there in YouTube land and you see this at all and you've had this experience and you have some comments or feedback, I'd really appreciate it. And, you know, maybe in numbers we can try to fix this situation and find out, you know, how this is happening and the, you know, the problems that this is creating for just regular people who are just trying to work hard, you know, to earn a living and do the right thing by paying their taxes and or getting the refunds back that they greatly deserve, and, you know, having to just be stressed out over this type of an issue. Let's stop the nonsense. I'll be back hopefully with a positive report. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.